Either they want to know about the health of the eye or, they have an issue. These are the most qualified leads you can have. And we need to remember that. Take advantage of that. All right, my friends, the Ultimate OD Podcast. I have 3 big steps that you can do to make your specialty practice better. 3 things that I failed to realize for the past 2.5 years that I'm making better. I'm implementing in my office that's helping me convert, helping me be a better specialty clinic, and things that you should start doing right now. Closing the episode, this is the Ultimate OD Podcast. Here we go. All right, my friends, the Ultimate OD Podcast. Thank you for tuning in, the likes, the listens, everyone that's been following and growing with us. This has been a very, very good year. It's also been very enlightening for me. I've hit a point where I'm trying to figure out what my next step is, what my next phase is, where I want to go. One of the things that I found is that moving fast is the best way to get rid of anxiety or fear of the future. Just keep moving forward. And over the past few months, I went to AOA, which was surprisingly one of the best experiences of my career in terms of getting juice and focusing my laser, focusing on what I want to practice on, what I want to do, how I want to operate my office. And at AOA, I had a ton of dry eye lectures. And I was going into it thinking that I needed to really focus on my dry eye center, Rejuvenation Dry Eye Center, affectionately called RDEC. And it was there that I found a device called Tixel. Amazing. It is great for MGD, also my gateway into aesthetics into my office. And I came back, made that purchase, and we've been flying just forward. Now, then I went to a conference for InMode, and InMode is huge into aesthetics. And that's where I wanted to kind of bridge the gap. You don't know what you don't know. And when I talk aesthetics, I'm talking like med spas, plastic surgery, dermatology, you name it, they are involved in all that stuff. And got a lot of information about radio frequency. And I love the IPL is great. Tixel is amazing. The gap that I had was RF, right? And one of my goals when I talk to my associate and myself is we'd love in a world where we never did a refraction and we just were a referral center focused on anterior sag and dry eye. I'm like, I said in the next 2 years, I need to have a standalone clinic that is that. I set a goal. And little did I know that mentality is kind of something that helps you get things done. And a couple of books I've been reading, 10x is easier than 2x is a good one. But in that book, they said, or their premise is, you need to have an impossible goal, an impossible timeline, and move fast. And when you have those things, you get clarity on what is noise and what you need to focus on. And that's something that was really, really enlightening to me, because the old way of doing things was just sharpening the sword, getting a little bit better at what I was doing. And what I've been doing is primary care, glasses, contacts, glaucoma evaluation here or there, some dry eye. But I wanted to go all out. I wanted to go to the next level and be the spot, be the place, have access to everything that we can offer. And I kind of made that now, right? One of my shortcomings that I looked at was I wanted to start a dry eye clinic, so I bought an IPL, okay? And when your only tool is a hammer, everything starts looking like a nail. And IPL is great. It is absolutely amazing what it can do, but it's not a cure-all. Okay, so when you have IPL, you do an IPL treatment, you do the round of four. If you're not treating that patient in terms of inflammation, obstruction, they're not doing home therapies, they're not following up, and you think they're just going to come back and keep doing IPL treatments, that's where I was selling treatments, and I had great results, but they didn't last. And people are like, "Am I going to have to keep doing this all the time?" I didn't do a great job of creating the awareness of the issue and giving them feedback on how to fix it. They knew there was a problem. They knew enough to go through with it, but I didn't do the next step. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today is what you need to do for the foundation of your dry eye clinic. The next episode we're going to go over is going to be more of a sales funnel type thing, but this is bigger picture. And what we need to do before we get to that sales funnel is realize what the dry eye clinic is. And then you can apply this to myopia management. You can apply it to vision therapy. You can apply it to glaucoma, mac degen, whatever you want to apply it to. But the principles are the same. Number one, you have to identify a problem, right? They have to know there's a problem. For me, in my clinic, the majority of the patients that I have coming in are coming in for a primary care exam, glasses or contacts, right? And I take a lot of managed care. So $40 exam, they're expecting to pay X, Y, or Z, go from there. Thankfully, a lot of my patients I've seen them for years, but even with the new patients coming in, we're doing a thorough evaluation of the health of their eye. Back of the eye, front of the eye, we are doing that evaluation. And before, I kind of look, say I saw some signs, and then I have them come back in 4 to 6 weeks. Okay? Like, hey, this is what I want you to do. And then I give them some home therapy and gauge how that went. Still a great, viable way. But now I have interior segment camera. We're doing myopography on every single patient that we possibly can. And my personal patients, if they're 18 or older, I'm looking at their lids. Right? We get a picture of the back of the eye. We get a picture of the front of the eye. Any sign of dropout, any complaint of dryness, we are having a conversation about what needs to be done. Now think about this. If you have a patient that comes in, they have like 0.6 nerves and a pressure of 28. Any question at all what you're going to do? Right? No question at all. If they have, complain of redness at the end of the day, the contact lenses aren't comfortable, and they have mild to moderate dropout, and they're in their 30s or 40s, there shouldn't be a question on what you do. Right? And that's changing your mindset. This is the standard of care, and you need to have that conversation. Like, you'll explain glaucoma, and you'll just go over, hey, it's a disease of the optic nerve. At some point, it can cause total blindness. It's not something that we have to act on right away, but we need to follow up with this. Right? You're not going into the anatomy of the nerve and retinal nerve fiber layer and all these things. No, we got to do some tests. We'll give you some answers and go from there. That's the mistake I was making with dry eyes. I try to get really in-depth and thorough. Well, these are your glands. There's some dropout. This is why you're having the dryness and redness. We need to do some more tests. We have options, right? It doesn't have to be a long, drawn-out process. You need to let them know that there's an issue, all right? So step one is creating awareness. Now, with my patient base, it's a little different because, like I said, all managed care. I talked to a doctor at the M-Mode conference. Amazing startup practice, doing things the way I wish I would have done it. I don't know if she takes managed care and doesn't have a lot of independent frame lines, isn't following the beast, right? I've went all in on that. I take VSP, iMed, use Luxottica. It's just that's the environment I've made. Am I a huge fan of them in certain aspects? Probably not at times because, well, they're the corporate conglomerate that's coming down on us, but I'm going to utilize every resource I have, and that's what I'm doing. Now, if I had a better qualified, patient base, so if you have no insurance and they're only coming in cash, you're probably not going to see as high a volume, but you're going to see a better qualified patient that will take extra steps to further care. I have to kind of weed through those. So it's a little different process, but you still have to know what you're dealing with, right? In talking to some of the reps from these companies, the Luminous, Tixel, Enmode, The thing that every single sales rep for that tells me is they have to find doctors and have conversations with doctors. So they get 10 doctors, they may sell one doctor, right? We get, 15 to 20 patients a day. They would love that kind of volume. And they're qualified leads. They are coming in because they have an eye concern of some sort. Either they want to know about the health of the eye or, they have an issue. These are the most qualified leads you can have. And we need to remember that, take advantage of that, right? So, like I said, what I was doing was selling treatments. I wasn't educating on what the condition was. All right. So, step one, make sure you're doing that. You're educating that and treat it like you would macular degeneration, glaucoma. It's just a part of the exam. Like I said, apply this to whatever you want to be. But number one, you create that. Number two, when you do talk to them about things, there's a lot of different ways you can treat glaucoma. You can monitor, you can do SLT, you can treat them with drops, MIGS, plenty of options, right? Well, do yourself a favor. If you go into something like dry eye, don't be afraid to have all the devices. And that's the thing where I think a lot of people get caught up in it, is they aren't passionate about dry eye. They're not passionate about the actual treatment. They want a cash pay option, because that's what they've been told, that fixes a solution. So they have one device that treats everything, right? Even if you only have one device, there's a lot of things you can do, from amniotic membranes, autologous serum, pharmaceutical options, plugs, that aren't huge investments like an IPL, RF, or Tixel, right? There's options out there, but you need to open up your tool cabinet, open up your options that you can offer the patients. Know your menu, right? So not only do you need to create the conversation, but you need to do a little work on the front end and know the menu of options you have to offer, right? That's something that, again, I was lacking. I've improved this. I've gotten better at communicating, and I've given more options, and I have happier patients. Initially, again, I was looking at it from a business standpoint of, hey, we just want to run treatments. Treatments are what do X, Y, or Z. Well, that's not what's best for the patient overall, and it's not long term, because they can only do so many treatments, and they're not just going back and keep doing the treatment. Now, don't get me wrong, they might, but you have to be doing other things to keep that process flowing. Like, they're on a prescription medication, you're checking them quarterly to look at their ocular surface, making sure that their pain is being addressed. Knowing that if they slip up, if they fall off the wagon, the pain will return. It's a chronic disease that doesn't go away, right? Know your menu and create that continuity of care, right? Two big things that I was completely missing that I've started to implement and is better. Now, the other thing that I think, so this is, like I said, 30,000 foot view. Treat it like an actual medical condition. Have a menu of options. And then the last thing I will tell you is you have got to follow up, right? When we sell a pair of glasses, we call them when they come back in, we dispense, and then 3 days later, we check in on them. Hey, how you doing? Any issues there? You need to do the same thing with your dry eye patients. After you have a consult, after they have something, you need to have a system in place where after the consult, after the treatment, someone is following up, that they're getting education, they're getting the information they need. And again, I need to up my game. This comes in the form of emails about the specific condition or treatment that they have, the condition they have, or the treatment they're getting. Follow-up calls after their treatment, making sure they're good, their questions are answered. Knowing that we are here throughout the process. If they have a flare-up or anything going on, they will take care of them. And if they don't sign up, if it wasn't the right time, that you're following up, you're not losing all connectivity. Right? A simple thing that we're implementing is We give them a treatment plan and we let them know, here, we'll give you this, but what's your email? So we can also email that to you so you have an electronic copy because things get lost. Well, when you give get that email, send that electronic copy, that gives you a perfect time to send the things I'm talking about. The specific condition, their specific plan. And then throughout the next 2, 3, 4, 6, 8 months, just a little tickle of that. Hey, just reminding you, this is something new that we're doing for, meibomian gland dysfunction. Something new for, your lash health. You pick what it is, but letting them know that you're still here, staying forefront of mind. Remember, these are the most qualified leads you could get. Don't just get the one and done and be like, hey, they're out. Create that process. And like I said, the next episode, I'm going to go over the sales funnel for something as simple as dry eye, right? And you can apply it to anything again, but these are things that we can do to grow our business within our business. Okay? Glasses and contacts are a huge part of what an optometry practice does, but I don't think that that's the future of where we're going. Right? I think the future is going to be in ocular health and wellness. That's glaucoma, mac degen, cataracts, diabetes. Dry eye is a huge aspect of what we're going to do. I don't think there's a huge group of people that really want to manage the ocular surface dry eye, so that's why I have a lot of chips in that basket. I don't think there's enough ophthalmologists to do the posterior segment. Put some chips in that basket. There's opportunities out there, but don't keep doing what you're doing. We have to recreate our offices, recreate the paradigm of what eye care is. And that's going to set you apart. That's when you're not competing with that middle 50% that's all fighting for the same things, and you're a commodity, your glasses or contacts. What sets you apart and what makes you different than everyone else out there? This is kind of a big picture way of thinking about that. And every single one of our offices needs to start thinking this way. That's what I have. We'll have more for you next week. Where, oh where has the time gone? This is the closing thought of the episode, and I'll leave you with this. An amateur practices until they can do the task right. A professional practices until they can't do the task wrong. A lot in that quote. It's about perspective. What are you trying to do? Are you just trying to get to the point that you can do it? Or are you trying to make yourself that 1% where you are the expert in your field? You're better than everyone else because you have done the same move 1,000 times, right? I don't fear the man that has done 1,000 moves one time. I fear the man that's done one move 1,000 times. What can you do to make yourself an expert at what you are practicing? And again, it may be glasses, contacts, dry eye, vision therapy, myopia management, scleral lenses. This is an art, my friends, and not all optometrists are created equal. I'll tell you that right now. You look left, look right, not everyone is going to be elite. Be elite, do the work, practice until you can't do it wrong. That's what I have for you. Dr. Lily out.